Okay, so as you do your research, you're gonna want to start thinking about, the overall format of your website is going to be more linear, vertical, or more horizontal. In terms of style or layout, that's going to be up to you. But I'm going to show you some ways to get other ideas utilizing Photoshop's templates. So I'm going to hit Command or Control N for a new document. It's going to bring up this in my documents, your recents folder. Now up here you have some options for presets, for photo presets. If I target it, it's going to bring up templates for photographers or photographic artists. Print, it's going to bring up templates for printing, and art and illustration, as you can see, the same there. But we also have one called web. If I target the web, it's going to bring up some web templates. Now, for this week, once again, you're just researching your projects. I do not expect a completed web page. I just expect a brief little layout as to where things are going to, how it's going to be laid out, and maybe and also your color schemes that's going to be associated with it. You can see this one is mostly grayish, more of a neutral color scheme. Here's one that leads to blue. If you notice in the bottom right hand corner, it says free, right? So say for example, you know what, that one kind of matches what I'm going to do. You can click on it, and then right down here in the bottom right, it says download, all right? And it's giving you the size in megabytes, 13.3 megabytes, which is not that big. We can even preview this to preview how it's going to look. In other words, what you're getting here. So this is your layout that's going to be based over different styles, over several different pages, um, in terms of its length and how it's going to be viewed on the web. So if let's do this. Let's close the preview. Let's go to another. Let's target this one here. See the preview and more examples. I've already downloaded one. Let me go ahead and clear that preview, and I'm gonna hit close. Okay. And I've downloaded one here that's going to be help me in terms of getting a good start on where I might want to go with this. Now, it's very, very basic, but it shows you an idea how things are organized. And this is where I really want us to get into when we get into actually designing this out in more detail in week 2. So everything is used to, is actually preserved in layer groups. So you got your instructions here. If I click it on and off, you can see all the entire bottom 3/4 disappears. Well, if I click on the eyeball and come over to my layers panel, what we're going to see is we have additional layer groups. That's what these folders are. So inside of each group is going to house a certain set of layers that's used to design a certain element. If I drop it down even further, you can see that group pretty much encompasses the text, the actual watch symbol there. And I'm going to go ahead and zoom in a little closer. Hit the F key to go to full screen mode, pull this on over, turn that off and on, and we can see what's going on. I'm going to go ahead and turn off the properties up here. Okay. Now here's our text. Okay. It's all there, and let's turn that on. So all of this is in one particular group under time. If I click the folder up, in that group it says time. Right below that you have this rectangular gray shape, which is being used so that you can easily discern the text there. That's on top. Navigation tips, which is right up here. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in on that one there. Is inside its own layer group. So if I turn it off and on. So all layer groups are several layers that's been placed inside of a single group, so that single group can be manipulated independently from everything else in the scene. If I target this group and hit Command T, right, for free transform, now it's locked right now. I'm going to click it. Now, could not because this whole thing is locked by the parent. So I need to come up here and unlock everything, right? There we go. So I'm unlocking everything. So navigational tips, bring it down, and there is my actual vector shape. This is designed. This shape is actually a non-destructive vector graphic. If I double click on this graphic, I can change the color to anything that I like. Okay, is that making sense? So what you're going to do is you're going to design, just kind of get a basic layout as to how things are going to be placed on here. Thinking about what graphics you're going to use, how they're going to be laid out, where your navigational bar is going to do. It's also going to be placed. So if I'm going to go ahead and modify this one here. I can put an image inside this picture here. And this is on its own layer. And let's say, for example, I want to put my image inside there. So I'm going to go to Bridge. So inside of Bridge, I'm going to go find a portrait of a portrait of myself, which I do have on another hard drive. So I'm going to go ahead and make Bridge large. And in Bridge, I have an external hard drive. Go to PC here. And there it is, volume. And then I'm going to come back down to a folder called Bio and Resume. So it's my personal bio and resume. And if I come down to Portrait, I believe is what self-portraits, double click it, and you can see pictures of me. I'm hitting the space bar on inside a Bridge. So if I target any of these, actually, let me scroll this down. Now, here we are. There's a good portrait of me there. So if I hit the space bar, it's there. I may have one with just the image without the extra space there. There I am. All right. Now, I'm going to pull Bridge off to the side just a little bit. Why? Because I want to line it up with the image in Photoshop. So here's the image here. If I turn it off and on, let's go ahead and zoom in on this. Okay. I'm going to get my image and make sure the image is going to be brought in as a smart object. So if we drag anything in from Bridge, if I click and hold on this and place it inside the Photoshop document, it's going to create what's called a smart object. All right. We'll get more into details next week when I'm going to actually get into fine tuning and give you exact details on how to lay out your page. Once again, we're just trying to kind of get an idea as to how we want our page to look. So you'll see that crosshair right in there. That's basically telling you that it is called a smart object. If I hit enter on the keyboard, it'll commit my changes. Now what I'd like to do is I want this as a clipping path to this rectangular shape. That rectangular shape came with a template. If I turn it off and on, we can see it. Now you can also see that my portrait is on top of it, which is a good thing. So I'm going to overlap it just a little bit for a reason. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a command where hold the Alt or Option key, place the cursor in between the two layers, and then left click. It would associate my head, my portrait, right? And only make it part of that layer, right? So all the pixel information in the top layer is only going to show up within this rectangular shape. If I hit Command or Control T for free transform, I can continue to transform that shape to make it smaller, make it bigger, as I so choose. Okay. Now, notice I have a smart object here. So what that means is that if I resize this file as many times as I like, or up or down, smaller size, larger size, it's going to maintain its original quality. Okay, so if you drag, once again, if you drag all your files in here from Bridge, it will automatically become a smart object in Photoshop. We'll cover this in more detail next week when we really get into creating our layout in Photoshop. Okay, so there you are. So right now, you're welcome to play with those templates. I do not want you to rely on them. I want you to create your own unique design. We have another issue in that we want to actually put in a little bar up here where we can place in our text for navigational links. This is where we're going to start utilizing a couple of things. I may want to kind of think about the color palette I might like to use. And we can always change that anytime because we're using vector tools. It's non-destructive. So on the toolbar, it's actually right above your magnifying glass. If I click and hold on this rectangular symbol, these are my vector tools. And I'm going to find out where my portrait's at the very top. So I'm going to just target the instruction folder because when I place my rectangle in there, right, I'm going to want it to make it like so big. There. Okay. Now there's my bar. Maybe what I'd like to do, and what I'm going to do also is hit the move tool so I can move this around like so. I may want to just bring it above the page and actually scroll this over. So Command or Control T and holding the Shift key to break the constraints here. So breaking the constraints so I can actually move it and distort the image. So I'll place it here. Now what I might like to do is I can either keep it that color or I can change that color a little bit. We'll come back to that in just one moment. So here, turn it off and on. It's going to be my foreground element. This element, and I'm going to go in, what else I'm going to find is this bottom portion here. So this is on the bottom, okay? And then the new one that I just placed up here with my portrait is being placed at the top. So I want to keep that in mind. So once again, I've got the options to modify everything, provided that I keep everything a smart object or a vector shape. Here's another vector shape. We know that with that rectangular symbol on the bottom right hand corner of your layer. If I click and release, I can decide to choose that color. All right, so if I double click on it, you can see what's happening here. I'm going to give it kind of a lighter version of, there we go, of that reddish brown that we have up here. And click OK. All right, so imagery should be self-explanatory. You can drag image in here as you like, but think of something it has to complement and be part of the theme that you're creating. We're going to have to alter this color. Right, so if we wanted to go over to, let's go to my Windows panel. We're going to go over to extensions and then get our color themes. That's where they live. Under extensions, under Adobe Color Theme, and there it is. Over here, I've got a series of color palettes. What I want you to do for your project is you're going to pick a palette and you're going to stick to that palette throughout the creation of your website. Okay, so let's go take a look at this real quick. Let's get rid of the properties. Let's go to my eyedropper. All right, and I'm going to take this and let's go to, we can go to explore, or so as I click on each one of these, my foreground color changes. So if I double click this, right, I can apply my foreground color. So I can click the foreground color, and as you can see, that altered to one of the colors on my color panel. Okay. Now, what we could also do, we have a means. Let me go to my drop list here. Okay, so let me explain it this way. Play with this. All right, so I'm not gonna. In this week, I don't want you to focus on creating a complete website. I just want you to play with this, play around with your design ideas. Definitely come online. Let's go ahead and maximize this. Look at other websites. Look at color coordination palettes, and then just give me a basic idea as to where you want to go with this. Okay, so when you submit your homework assignment with me to me, include in your layer, a screenshot of your sample color palette. Okay. All right. So you can actually create your screenshot from here. This is another image I use to bring in here to create this color palette right there. Okay. I'm going to kind of make sure I'm at 100% there. There we go. There we go. That's what we want. So there's my other color palette, another color palette. You can do a screen capture of this, and then bring it in as a JPEG, or place this on a layer inside the file that you're going to submit to me, so that that's all there. Because I want to get an idea as to the palette that you're going to stick to throughout the creation. Now we're going to get more details into this on how to apply these colors to your website. Whether it's going to be a part of your navigational bar, or any aspect of your website. But for right now, just kind of play around, be creative, give me your ideas, submit it, and I look forward to joining you online and interacting with you, and and excited about seeing what you're going to be creating. Now, make sure you submit the intermediary stages of your work through your the dialogue section there. All right. So where we're going to go in there and interact with each other in the discussion session. All right. So that you can submit your work and get ideas from your classmates as well as myself. All right, so have fun with the assignment. Looking forward to seeing your work. And ask as many questions as you can online. Let's have fun with this. We'll see you soon.